Hi Monique, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay. Awesome. So today we're just going to be kind of going over a bunch of questions to get some background information on you. If there's any questions that you need help with like clarifying or that you don't feel comfortable talking about, that's okay. And you can feel free to, ask me to elaborate some more. So just to get started, are there any nicknames or preferred names that you would prefer me to call you?
I just go by Monique.
Monique, awesome. And what's your date of birth?
January 8th, 1988.
Okay. And your gender identity, I want to make sure that I'm using, language that's comfortable to you. How do
Mhm.
you prefer pronoun wise?
She, her.
She, her.
Yeah.
Awesome. And are you married?
I am,
Or-
yes. Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. And how long have you been married?
I've been married for 8 years.
8 years. Wow. Okay. And primary language,
English.
English. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and kind of get into why you're coming to therapy. What brings you in? What are you looking to get some help with?
Yeah, so I've just been very stressed out and overwhelmed. So I'm in grad school and I haven't been doing that great in some classes that I have. And I'm really, really, really worried that I'm going to fail out and waste all this money that we've spent. And so I have just been beyond anxious and stressed out and irritable and yeah, just not not doing super great right now with all the stress.
Hmm. That sounds like it's been really tough on you.
Yeah, really tough. I going back to school and doing this career change was a big decision, and I just feel really bad about myself that I'm failing, and maybe it means that I'm not going to do well in this career if I can't even pass some of these classes. So it's been very stressful.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of pressure
Yes,
to, especially
exactly.
with making a career change.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly. Feels like a lot of pressure.
Hmm. And how long has this anxiety and stress been going on?
I would say for the last few months, this new semester just has a couple classes that have been more difficult for me, and I would say I've been feeling anxious probably since I started the program. But I think that it's been affecting me more the past few months, maybe like the last 2 months.
Okay. And you said that you did a career change. Did you complete schooling for the previous career that you had?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was a dental hygienist and I actually had a career as a dental hygienist for about 8 years.
Mhm.
I was just feeling very burnt out and not very passionate about, working in dentistry. And so I have always been fascinated with psychology and I thought that I would switch over to a counseling psychology graduate program.
Okay. And when you were completing schooling for your dental hygienist degree, did you have similar feelings of the anxiety and stress over those classes?
I did actually, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really even think about it, but until now, until you just asked me, and I was pretty anxious going through that program as well. I don't know if I don't know if it was just the fact that I was younger and I wasn't married, and maybe it didn't feel like as much pressure. But I definitely remember feeling stressed out about like
Mm-hmm.
passing and wanting to make sure that I passed everything. And so, yeah.
So there's been some life changes that have happened since then and now.
Yes.
Okay. And how did you cope then with the anxiety and stress that you did feel?
I I don't know. I think I just really relied on the support from my friends that I had made in that program. Everybody seemed like they were just as stressed out as I was, and
Mhm.
we really kind of just like would lean on each other for support. And I just tried to be as prepared as I could. So I would, stay awake, all night and study for some things. And I think that's probably the major difference now is that I have, a family, I have a son, and I'm married, and um, I probably just don't have as much time to prepare as I did before
Mhm.
when I was in the other program, maybe. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you did mention that you had more of a support system when you were in that program. Do you
Mhm.
have a support system similar, like with other students or anything now?
I think now that I'm in my practicum and I've been able to meet other students in the program and that, we all work at the same place or doing our practicum at the same place, I think there has been a better sense of support since I've been doing that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So I do want to just kind of switch a little bit to talking more about like your history with mental health and everything. Have you ever had a history of anxiety or depression or anything like that before now?
I don't, besides the anxiety that I had when I was going through my dental hygiene program, I don't really think anything has really come up for me that jumps out to me unless I just don't have a lot of awareness about it, but nothing that stands out to me.
Okay, and what about previous treatments, therapy, medications, anything like that?
I have never done therapy before. This was my first
Okay.
time. Mhm.
Okay. So no medications or hospitalizations or anything like that in the past.
No.
Okay. And have you ever abused substances, any sort of drugs, whether it's street drugs or prescription drugs or alcohol?
No, definitely no drugs. I do drink alcohol on occasion, maybe once or twice a week. Um, I might have maybe a glass or two of wine, with dinner,
Okay.
a few times a week if I'm not going to study that night, or if I just need to relax after, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. So I do want to ask if you've had any thoughts of ending your life or hurting yourself.
I am a little embarrassed and I haven't really said this to anybody, but there are some times that I get so stressed out and I do think, man, what would it be like to just like not wake up tomorrow and not have to deal with, any of the stressful stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is understandable to have those thoughts, and it's common. Um, you have a lot of pressure, with the big career change and things like that. So it's not uncommon to feel that way at all. Has it ever gone beyond just thoughts? Have you ever thought of really doing something to end your life or hurt yourself?
I don't think it's gotten any farther than thoughts about what it would be like if I wasn't alive
Okay.
anymore. I don't think I've ever really had thoughts about what I would do, or I think if it came down to it, I don't really think I would actually ever end my life. But I just think about what it would be like if I wasn't alive, if that makes sense.
Okay. Has there been a history of this before now?
I think I'll connect it back to the other time that I was in a high stress program. And I think that some of the thoughts crept in like that, like, I just don't want to deal with this anymore type thing. But I don't remember ever having like any thoughts of actually doing it back then
Okay.
either. I think it was just always just a thought.
Okay, so it's more of just kind of a passing thought, no intentions to do anything.
Correct. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. And how often do you feel this way? How often does this come up?
I think the more stressed I am, the more frequent the thought. So these past few months, I have probably had those thoughts more often than before. And I would say maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 times a week, I might find myself thinking about that.
Okay. Would you be willing to put a safety plan in place? I know you said that you have no intentions, but maybe just having a safety plan in case it ever does go beyond thoughts.
Of course, yes, and it's a relief to be able to talk about it,
Mhm.
in this setting because like I said, I have had those thoughts, but I've never really shared them with anybody because I don't know what that would sound like to somebody, or I wouldn't want someone to like, freak out or, something like that. So I think having a safety plan would be a really good idea, just in case.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm happy that you're finding relief speaking about it, and I'm here to support you in any way that I can. So when you start to get these feelings and these thoughts, who are some people that you could turn to for support?
Definitely my husband, Andrew. Um, I feel like he kind of has had a history with things like this. And so I think that he would understand and be a good source of support if I told him that I was kind of having these thoughts. So definitely my husband, Andrew. Um, Another person is my sister, Erica. We're pretty close. And so she would be someone that I would trust with this information. And my best friend, Megan.
Okay, so we have Andrew, Erica, and Megan.
Mm,
Um, that's good that you have a support system and people that you could turn to in
mm,
case you ever, you need it. Um, what about some things you could do to distract yourself that maybe can calm you down if you ever, start to
yeah.
feel overwhelmed or stressed and it's leading to those thoughts again?
Yeah. I know that when I exercise, I know I just feel better in general. And sometimes I stop exercising when I feel like I don't have time or I'm too stressed out about other things. I think I don't have time to exercise. But um, I have one of those indoor cycling, like the Peloton. So getting on the Peloton would probably be a really good thing for me to do. I also have a dog that I just love so much, and I love taking her out for walks and stuff when I have time. So, exercising on the Peloton or taking Sasha for a walk. And then another thing is maybe planning a dinner with my mom and dad. My parents recently relocated to be closer to my husband and I. And so I enjoy spending time, with them and catching up and stuff. So yeah, visiting them or having them visit would be a good thing.
It's nice that they moved closer. Are you able to see them more?
Yes, yes. So it's
Good.
been great.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have a pretty good support system
Yes, I
between
do.
your parents and your sister too.
Yep.
What was it like growing up with them?
We had a very, I'm very blessed. My parents were two hardworking, loving people that really gave us all that they could. And so I was able to, play sports and do extracurricular activities. And I always knew that I had their support. And yeah, so growing up, I was very close with my siblings, and yeah, so life was good. Yeah, busy but good.
That's good. You said siblings, so you have more siblings than just your sister Erica that you mentioned?
Yes, yes, I do. I have an older brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And circling back just a little bit, have you ever had thoughts of hurting anyone else?
No, no,
Okay.
no.
And going back to your family again, with your family, was there any sort of abuse, whether it was physical or emotional?
No, never.
Okay, awesome. Um, and what was it like growing up with friends, or at school? What was that like for you?
It was really good. I feel like I've always been able to make friends. I have a really good circle of friends now, even into adulthood, and some of them are friends that I've made when I was like 11, so um, I would say that my friend circle is pretty strong. I definitely feel supported in that regard. And yeah.
Awesome. And what about, previous employment? I know you mentioned that you worked as a dental hygienist for about 8 years, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And was there anything else that you did before that, or?
Yeah, before I was a dental hygienist, I was a dental assistant, and that's what the job that I had that put me through being able to go to school for dental hygiene. And I thought it would be a good idea to get my foot in the door working in a dental office. So I started when I had graduated high school and I was taking college classes. I was a dental assistant during the day. So yeah,
Okay.
a lot of experience in the dental field.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Mhm.
Um, So now let's talk a little bit about your support system and relationships. I know you mentioned that you have your friend Megan, your husband Andrew, your sister Erica. Your parents recently moved closer to you and your husband. Is there anybody else, or how's that support system for you?
Yeah, I would say the support system has been great. I have a really good friend named Nicole too. She's one of my closest friends that I also lean on for support. And honestly, just some of the friends that I've made that are MFT trainees, and we are at the same practicum site, so I see them several times a week, and I've really been pretty amazed with how supported I feel there as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. And are you comfortable? I know you mentioned that you haven't shared these thoughts that you were having with anybody, but are you generally comfortable sharing, if you're having a hard time with
Yes.
anybody?
Yes, I think anything besides like the maybe the passive suicidal ideation that sometimes I have, I think I'm pretty open with everything else. That was one thing that I didn't feel super comfortable telling just like friends or, anybody else. So,
Yeah. Okay.
mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about medical history. How would you say your overall health is?
Overall, I've been very healthy. I've never even broken a bone, so yeah, I've been pretty healthy with.
Okay. So no need to take previous medications or any sort of diagnoses like that.
No. Yeah.
Okay. And I know that you've been feeling a lot of stress and anxiety. How has your sleep been?
My sleep's been not great. I wake up tired. I typically wake up around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have a hard time going back to sleep. And it seems like when I do go back to sleep, it's when it's time to wake up for the day. So, I would definitely say over the last several months, my sleep has not been the best.
Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can do when you do wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. that might help you fall asleep
You know,
quickly
I've
or
I've recently been trying to get better with doing prayer, like prayer meditation, and I found this thing on YouTube that has really it's like a guided meditation with like really relaxing music. And I at first my husband thought it was weird that he would hear this playing, but it kind of helps me go back to sleep, and so that's been helpful.
good? Um, let's talk a little bit about like your cultural background and how you identify.
Yeah, so my grandparents immigrated from Mexico to Southern California. And so my parents were born here, and so was I. I'm born and raised in San Diego and then relocated when my husband and I got married. And so, yeah, so I have a Mexican background.
Okay, and how would you say that your Mexican background views mental health or how it impacts your views on mental health?
Yeah, so I would say my grandparents, like mental health, it was like a non-existent thing for them. And so I think my parents kind of grew up with not being able to express their feelings a lot. And so I think that in turn, with us growing up, there wasn't a big opportunity to talk about feelings and stuff. I don't feel like it was not allowed, but it just wasn't a super high priority. And I wonder if my cultural background did impact that, just like this
Mhm.
feeling of not feeling like I could talk about things when I'm stressed out or, not really feeling like it was the regular thing to do in my household.
Okay, so maybe a bit of a feeling of needing to keep to yourself
Yes.
and maybe presenting that there's nothing going on.
Yes, that I was feeling okay, even if I was actually feeling kind of stressed out or sad or something. Yeah.
Okay, and do you think that that would have an impact on you talking to your parents now? I know you said that you feel supported by them.
But even still, I wouldn't even want to like be a burden, or I wouldn't want them, when I said earlier, I wouldn't want anybody to freak out about like having certain thoughts. They were who I was thinking of. Like they might think of, oh my gosh, why would you want to do that? Or, just something like that, like not really understanding or having a big capacity to understand mental health issues.
Okay. Okay. And what about religion? I know you mentioned that you listen to prayer
Yes,
on
yeah.
YouTube. So
hmm I,
how do you identify?
I definitely identify as a Christian. I grew up in a Catholic household, which I do think, because I'm coming from a Mexican household, I think that the Catholicism is more standard. But as an adult, I definitely identify with just more non-denominational Christianity. hmm
Okay. And how would you say that your faith has impacted your life?
I feel, well, it's just it's what I feel like gives me life and gives me hope is my faith and my relationship with Jesus. And that does actually help me when I am feeling low. That is something that I do. I do turn to prayer or Bible study or that meditation.
Mm.
And yeah, that's been very important for me.
Okay, so you're able to turn to your faith when you start having some of these anxious and stressed feelings.
Yes, yes. Mhm.
Uh, And do you go to church now?
Yes, we recently moved to another city. We live in Marietta, California, and so we still are kind of looking around for a church. But if we don't go physically, we'll stream, at my old church, because they're like an hour away. So we definitely try to have something going on, whether we go in person or just stream it online. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a lot of support at your previous church?
I feel like we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I do hope you guys can find a church soon. Um,
Thank you. Thanks. I
so you
hope so
can.
too. I think we will. Yeah.
And then one of the last things that I want to touch on would just be some legal history. Have you ever been involved in any legal matters or anything like that?
No.
No, so no previous arrests or
No.
parole or anything.
Mm-mm.
Okay, awesome. Well, I would like to maybe set some treatment goals. Is there anything specific that you would like to work on?
Yeah, I think if I could just maybe not feel like it was the end of the world, even if I did, fail a class or had to retake a class or something, I guess just feeling like it's not the end of the world and I'm stupid, or, I
Mm.
if I could just cope with the stress or cope with the idea of, maybe needing to retake a class, that would I think be really helpful for me.
Okay, so just maybe learning some coping strategies and mechanisms to help you get through these stressful feelings without feeling so down on yourself about them.
Yes, exactly. That would be perfect.
And you think that's your main priority then?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I look forward to working through that with you. Um, and is there anything else that you last minute want to discuss or you think I need to
No,
know?
no, I think that's it. I appreciate your time and I look forward to working with you. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I will see you next time.
Okay, sounds good.